So since the start of this project, we have done a huge amount of research. We looked at statistics and data that Dr. Sikdar sir has shared with you. We also looked at numerous other health research data. What I'm going to share with you is, looking at the family planning market or contraception market from the lens of private sector. We have, presence in the hall from private sector representatives, and I'm sure some of you would have actually seen this data and been using this data over the last couple of years. But I thought, to set the ball rolling and to set the context for the next panel discussion, I will share some extract of that. So the first slide that I'm sharing with you, this is based on a research done by Goldman Sachs. And this research shows that, while rural remains important, the push for India's next consumption is going to come from the urban middle. So this is a lot of people because, the urban middle class, the employed urban middle class is just about 5% of the total workforce. But if you look at the educated urban mass and the urban blue collar migrant workers, together they form about 25% or together about 127 million people who are going to come up with a lot of consumption over the next few years. And this report identifies 3 drivers as the key drivers to India's changing shape of consumption. One is that, of course, there is rising affluence. So as people get their labor wages, they get revised, and as people get more affluent, the spending patterns, they change, and their spending ability also changes. The second is that the share of consumption is going to come from the tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 cities and not the urban metros, which seem to have kind of saturated in terms of their consumption. Of course, they will remain the big brand buyers, but a lot of volume purchases are going to come from the tier 1, 2, 3 cities like Gwalior, Sholapur, Araria, and other smaller cities that we all know of. And the third trend that this report identifies is that the increase in the number of nuclear families. Nuclear families are known to have a spending pattern that's very different from the joint families. About 20 to 30% of the consumption is more personal driven or individual driven rather than collective driven. Combine this with the fact that, over the next couple of years, we will have about 400 million Gen Z consumers, those born to 2000 or later than 2000, who will attain adulthood, enter the workplaces, the consumer market, electoral politics, popular culture, and will have a voice and opinion of theirs soon. And about 100 million of these are going to be living in urban areas. They will have spendable income. This is the market, as Dr. Sikdar showed us, where the contraception use needs to go up. The question that we need to pause and ask that, while the private sector sees a great opportunity in this cohort and are gearing up to find different ways of engaging with this segment, contemporizing their brands, coming out with new products, coming out with new solutions, supply chain solutions, is the contraception market also thinking along the same lines? Of course, the experience of the last 10 years tells us that, unless we do something drastic and disruptive, we might miss the boat. So there are predictions by marketing pundits and experts that indicate big opportunities for marketing various consumer products, FMCG products to new consumers. Manufacturers and marketers need to rethink their marketing strategy because, as Xerxes said that and Dr. Sikdar said that the way we have been marketing so far, maybe we need to rethink our strategy. And finally, with competing priorities, fighting for a share of their wallet is not going to be easy. There's a need to understand their decision-making, buying patterns, and come up with innovative ideas and solutions.